Make your presentation. The timeliness on this actually is very fitting because, as you know, in my district, I have two constituents who actually know from Santa Clarita who were part of the ship that was quarantined in Tokyo. They got on the plane to come back here, and her husband had a fever and was tested positive for the virus. And as I watched them document their time on the ship, one of the concerns they had was about the reaction from the community, knowing that they may or may not, even though at that point they were asymptomatic and had not tested for it. And so now we have a situation where it's publicly, this is living out in real time on the news, that the husband's tested positive. They've been locked up for 14 days, so they're monitoring her. And I'm, hope and pray that she remains asymptomatic, does not test. But the community and the response is going to be an issue for them to deal with, even if it's someone being afraid to be in the same room with them. Over the weekend, we have new neighbors that knocked on our door, and they had self-quarantined themselves for 14 days. And my husband nor I was in fear, and we welcomed them, and everything was fine. But I don't think that's the exception. And you had the press conference last week to talk about this issue, about discrimination against individuals. But there's a whole category that we need to address, and those are that have either come in contact or have had the virus, which is treatable when done proactively. So I think when we build in this, Supervisor Hahn, I guess my point is that there is a whole set out there now that needs to be educated about the fact that this is not, there's nothing to be afraid of. If they've been treated and they're back in the community, they're not contagious. So we need to educate the public as well on that.
Yeah, I totally agree, Supervisor. And I think you're raising a really critically important point.